Hello and welcome to Community Clubs Victoria podcast. My name is John Deeks and today we're off to the Goldfields to Bendigo in the Bendigo District RSL, and we're having a chat with Martin Beeks, the CEO. Martin, welcome along.
Yeah, hi John, how are you?
I'm doing very well, sir, and thanks for taking time to have a chat to us today. How goes the club?
No, we're flying at the moment, which is great.
What are some of the big things that are happening at Bendigo RSL?
Well, we're tourist mecca, I guess. Everyone comes up the road, so that's always good. Everyone's trying to get their little pot of gold.
Yeah, and I tell you what, mate, I go up and see my sister who lives up that way well in Kangaroo Flat, and the trains are chock-a-block in the mornings. All the people going up to have a look at the fabulous art gallery and do everything else up there. It's a sensational place.
Yeah, look, it's really being turned into an art hub. So, we've tried to get on that bandwagon as well with the Bendigo Military Museum. So it's been good.
Of course, that gels very well with the RSL's philosophies and reasons for existence. But let's look at the subject today, which is engaging with an ageing membership and how you actually bring new folks in and keep it vital. How does the club go about that?
Well, one of the things we did recently was, in the last couple of years, look at our membership age. We found that we had a lot of younger veterans, those that had been on peacekeeping missions, were part of the Iraq and Afghanistan conflict. So they had families, young children. And one of the things that we saw that we lacked was children's playgrounds. So that's one of the things that we did and built and implemented so that we could involve more of our membership rather than going to our competition, taking their kids for a bite to eat. So that's been really well received. We do have an ageing section within the membership of our Vietnam veterans. We do things associated with them, having morning melodies, and they're engaged in tennis and other activities. So, try and do a little bit of everything for everyone. One of the things that we also did was put on a veterans night. So there's no age. It just allows any veteran to come along, do it on the first Friday of every month. And, look, there are discounts involved and so on, but it's more about getting together and catching up with somebody who you haven't seen in a week, a month, a year, whatever the case may be, and chewing the fat. And it's a really good way for them to interact amongst each other. We have veterans who are centenarians, but we also have others that are, recent and even still serving. So been a really good way for us to engage the membership.
Hey, Martin, how do you make sure specific needs and interests among the ageing members of the RSL are fulfilled?
Oh, look, we always have cards where people can write down ideas, and put them through. We talk amongst everybody all the time and they put their ideas through. But we've also done surveys, one of those being ability for us to say, well, what do you want to see in a health and wellbeing program? Is it prospecting for gold, or is it part of the Men's Sheds program? Is it physical exercise? What is it that you want to do and see? And then we can tailor our staff towards getting those things up and running for them.
Yeah, it's a balancing act, isn't it, when you're talking about, younger members or, people who are coming in to enjoy the club with kids, and also the senior members who populate the RSLs a great deal. And getting that balance right, I would imagine, is quite hard.
Yeah, look, it is. The older clientele usually come in during the day for their hot meal and so on, and we get families coming in the evenings and weekends, but we're also generating a lot more interest from young members as well. So they'll enjoy new sports bar facilities with the big screens and pool tables and so on. Always looking at how we can interact. We just bought slushing machine last week, of all things. So there'll be something for the kids, but there'll be something for the adults as well.
How often do you do the surveys or get feedback? Apart from every time you walk through the club, someone's got a suggestion, no doubt.
Someone's got an opinion.
Okay, an opinion. But how do you quantify all those feedback messages?
We have a general members meeting once a quarter.
Oh, great. Yep.
So it's the ability for them to discuss what's on their mind, but listening to them ongoing is the key, and seeing what we can do and how our long-term viability and master plan, how that looks and how we can incorporate everything that they want into that going forward.
Martin Beeks, the Bendigo District RSL CEO, is on the line today talking to us on our CCV podcast. The RSLs, and a lot of other clubs as well, but certainly the RSLs tend to be the central hub for a lot of the members who come in and need other support. And people can come along and say, well, look, I suggest you try this. I suggest you go there. As you say, if it's wanting more interaction, Men's Shed, i.e., but other things as well, looking after the veterans.
Yeah, look, we prefer the analogy of stopping them from jumping in the water, so getting them busy, having their minds active, their fingers working, that sort of thing. Mental health is extremely important. And by having all of these activities and where they can get together and chew the fat, whether it's going visiting other clubs and activities, elsewhere.
Yeah, do you have experts coming in, in inverted commas, but do you have them coming in and talking to groups?
Look, we do. We've got one coming up very shortly. Sean O'Gorman, who's an ex-police officer who fought his way back from the brink with PTSD. So we've got something where he's coming out and having a chat to ex-police, both federal and state, and also veterans, to talk about his journey and what he did to beat those demons. But we've also invited the partners, because they often have to deal with situations that they are not comfortable with either. It's very important from both sides. It's about families as well as the veterans.
RSLs are a very different club to a lot of other clubs, aren't they? They're so specific.
Yeah, they are. Look, we still look after the community. There are community groups that we sponsor, so we make sure that we look after everybody, but our primary purpose is looking after the veterans and their dependents.
It's a very special place to be, and that very special time every day when we pause for 60 seconds and remember those who've gone before.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things that surprises people from time to time when they come into an RSL for the first time. We're at 6 p.m. We play the ode and everyone stands to attention, and some people may feel that's a little bit old-fashioned, but it's about showing respect to those that have served, current and those who unfortunately have passed. But, the facilities in the RSLs are second to none. They're just as good as pubs and clubs out there, and we encourage everyone to come in and have a go.
Plans for the Bendigo RSL?
Oh, look, we're going through a big master plan at the moment about what we're going to be, not just next year, but for the next 10, 20 years. And so that's taking up a lot of our time, and how we can be, bigger and better and service the Bendigo community.
What sort of things are you going to be doing?
I can't tell you that.
Go on, mate. It's under wraps, mate. It's under wraps.
Yeah, it's under wraps. That's right.
Do you support local sporting groups at all, Martin?
Oh, plenty. Yeah, look, everything from field hockey to footy to cricket to tennis. Yeah, you name it. We sponsor lots of different clubs.
And what's the feedback from those clubs and the community in general?
Oh, look, it's great. We invest in them and make sure that they have the ability to pay for their sporting fees and uniforms and all that sort of thing. And from a return on investment, they come back and have their interview programs, presentations and things like that. So, they also come in for after training teas and lunches on weekends and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's a really good community vibe.
Are you local from the Goldfields area, or have you come from other places?
Look, I came from Melbourne. I've been up here 16 odd years. Good spot. Yeah, no, it is. It's great.
Yeah. What's the Martin Beek story? Did you start in hospitality in Melbourne?
I did, yeah. I opened up Australia's first Burger King, of all places, at Melbourne Airport. Started the journey in fast food and then moved into pubs and clubs, and been working for RSLs for the last 10 odd years. So, yeah, I've been in all facets of the game, and it's very rewarding.
How's the kitchen?
Flying.
What do you reckon's number one? Palmer's?
Oh, your Palmer's are always going to be right up there.
Yeah. Chicken or veal?
Chicken, mate. Always chicken.
And mention Martin's name for extra chips. I love it. So, Martin, do you have music activities up there as well?
Yeah, look, on once a month on a Wednesday, we have a free morning melodies for the community. We get people in from aged homes or whatever, and they rock out, which is great. Every Friday, we have free, easy listening music for everybody. And every now and then we put on a band and so on. So we're not a big place in regards to the theatre shows and all that sort of stuff, but we make sure that we keep everyone entertained with some live stuff, which is great.
Speaking to other clubs around the CCV community, staffing issues is always an ongoing problem. How about for the Bendigo District RSL?
Yeah, look, we've got close to 90 staff, so we're on the larger side, I guess, but we're always trying to reinvest into the staff. Recently just had some customer service and difficult customer training, which is always something that we should be doing. Leadership training, there's some recent training through CCV, but also through another company called DNS. So we've got an ongoing 8-month program going with the management team. So it's always about having your staff on the front foot. You're only as good as your weakest link, so you've got to make sure that is as high as possible.
And it's a lot easier to maintain and continue to upgrade your staff training-wise than having to bring new folks in. So
it's very expensive.
What things do you do to retain good staff?
Oh, look, you always try and reward those that are doing a good job. We have a system here that any manager and or supervisor can recommend a staff member for a great job, in which case we give out some gold class movie tickets and things of that nature, rewarding people for doing not just what they're paid to do, but also going above and beyond. It's about recognition.
How is CCV helping your club in particular?
Oh, look, it's great advice. You're able to access various suppliers that have, cracking deals for all the clubs. The board are very easy to get along with and talk to. I'm part of the advisory committee for the managers. So, it's about what problems there are and what we're all doing to try and solve those. So, CCV as a community group is second to none.
Martin, you've got a big task on your hands, and I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day. We wish you nothing but success up there at Bendigo.
Thanks, John. Appreciate the time.
Martin Beeks, the CEO of the Bendigo District RSL, has been our special guest today on this Community Clubs Victoria podcast. And if you'd like to know more, just go to ccv.net.au. And I hope you join me next time for our next CCV podcast.